Life has a way of shifting when we least expect it. One phone call, one decision, or one truth surfacing can change everything. Sometimes the unexpected hits like a storm. You're going about your day, and then the phone rings with news that splits your life into before and after. Other times it slips in quietly, and before you know it, the ground beneath you is shifted. Gradual or sudden, the unexpected leaves us standing in the same place, facing a reality we didn't plan for, and a shift we can't ignore. And while each of us will experience it differently, the truth is universal. None of us get through life without moments that stop us in our tracks. The challenge is not whether the unexpected will come, but how we meet it when it does. The unexpected wears many faces. The part of what makes it so hard is that it doesn't always arrive in the same way. Sometimes it's a rupture you never saw coming. Sometimes it's a slow unraveling of something you thought would last forever. And sometimes it's the quiet moment of realization that time has been moving and you didn't notice until now. Sudden shifts feel like a punch in the gut, a diagnosis of breast cancer, getting laid off without warning, a partner walking in the door saying they no longer want to be married. I have one client who was preparing to send her second child off to college when a routine screening turned into a phone call that changed everything. Thankfully, hers was caught at a very early stage, and a lumpectomy was enough. Another client wasn't so lucky. An aggressive diagnosis left her enduring side effects every single day as she fights to see her granddaughter grow up. And a close friend's husband, the sole provider, was laid off during COVID. In his mid-50s, he found himself invisible to companies who didn't want to pay what his experience was worth. These are all moments that split life into before and after. Slow burns are different. They are a gradual unwinding of a marriage, the creeping stagnation of a career, or the slow wearing down of health. You think you're managing until one day you realize the cracks have become a break. There's no one defining moment, just the weight of 1,000 small ones accumulating until the truth can't be ignored. And then there are the silent realizations. Watching your parents age and understanding that, whether spoken or not, you're the backup plan. Physically, emotionally, financially. Even parents in seemingly good health can change in an instant. One fall, one health crisis, and they never quite recover. Or standing in front of your retirement account, suddenly aware that what you've saved may not carry you as far as you believed. These aren't dramatic ruptures, but they carry their own shock when the truth rises all at once. Each of these phases of the unexpected is different in timing and texture. But they all leave us in the same place, standing still, asking ourselves, what now? For me, the slow burn wasn't my career or health. It was my marriage. My divorce didn't blindside me at the end. The cracks in my marriage stared at me in the face daily. At first, you focus on the kids and the family unit. As long as it all gets done, you think you're okay. As long as a family unit stays intact, you tell yourself it's worth it. But the days go by, and piece by piece, you begin to disappear. You sacrifice your needs and wants. You satisfy your need for connection with friends or through work. You come home to a partner that feels more like a roommate. Conversations are about the kids, the house, the dogs, but never about the marriage. Never about the elephant in the room, the lack of connection. You don't bring up what you want it to feel like. Or maybe you do, and it falls on deaf ears. So eventually, you stop asking, and eventually, you stop hoping. That's when you reach a point of no return. That's what makes divorce as a slow burn so difficult. It's not one dramatic break. We create a story in our heads that match the way we feel. We explain away why something is the way it is or why they are the way they are, often without ever hearing the other person's truth. And those unspoken assumptions become the walls that grow between you. And before long, they feel unmovable. The daily erosion of intimacy, the silence that grows louder with time, the realization that your needs and your truth have been set aside for too long. And when you finally face it, the weight of all those days lands at once. And here's the paradox. Sometimes the end brings relief on both sides because the internal work you've been doing along the way means the end isn't the beginning of your healing. It's the stepping into your truth. It can feel like a door opening because in your heart, the other one closed a long time ago. So think about this. When you think about your own life, was there a time when you knew things were shifting, but you tried to explain it away? Did the weight finally land when you could no longer ignore it? And have you ever found, like I did, that what felt like an ending also carried relief? Because the real healing had already begun, and the door opening was one you were ready to walk through? Here are some of the other faces of the unexpected. Financial shifts often come with little warning. A layoff, an investment gone wrong, or the realization the retirement isn't as secure as you thought. What makes them so destabilizing is how quickly they ripple through every corner of life. A steady paycheck or savings account can feel like a foundation. And when that foundation cracks, it shakes your sense of safety and your vision for the future. I've known couples who have had to sit at the kitchen table late at night, running numbers again and again, wondering how to stretch a month's worth of bills when the income has disappeared. The math rarely tells the whole story. The fear, the shame, the quiet arguments, the pressure to fix it quickly. And you feel it in your body, the knot in your stomach, the racing thoughts as you try to fall asleep, the tension in your shoulders that never quite leaves. Unlike divorce, where emotions and relationships are tangled, financial shifts can feel cold and abrupt. Numbers on a page, balances dropping, bills piling up. Yet the emotional toll is just as real. And often the lessons only become clear in hindsight. Resourcefulness you didn't know you had, creativity in how you rebuild, and a sharper sense of what truly sustains you. So think about a financial challenge you faced. What did it teach you about what you truly value? And what can you live without? Health shifts also bring a different kind of unexpected. A diagnosis, an injury, the decline of a parent can stop you in your tracks in ways that money or relationships can't. Suddenly, priorities change. The calendar clears, but not for vacations, for appointments, treatments, or caregiving. And the body, whether yours or someone you love, becomes the central focus. If you've ever sat in a waiting room, staring at the clock while your stomach turns, you know that strange mix of hope and dread that health challenges bring. The smell of antiseptic, the sound of your name being called, the doctor's tone of voice before the words even register. You feel it in your body before your mind can process. And even the smallest changes, like the way the paper crinkles on the exam table or the hum of the fluorescent lights above, they all become part of the memory. What makes unexpected health challenges so profound is that it strips away the illusion of control. You can budget, plan, or negotiate your way out of other crises, but with health, you're often forced to surrender. The emotional toll is heavy. The fear of outcomes, grief over lost abilities, or the anxiety of waiting for test results. Yet even here, resilience emerges. A deeper appreciation for small joys, the strength of community, and the reminder that life is fragile and precious. How does your body hold you in times of uncertainty? What signals does it give you that your mind might not be ready to admit? Another face of the unexpected is family transitions. They often creep in quietly and land with surprising weight. Children leaving home, parents needing more care, or shifts inside long held relationships. You think you've prepared, but when the moment comes, when the house is suddenly quiet, or when the caretaker becomes the one needing care, the emotional impact can be just as jarring as a sudden rupture. I've heard parents describe standing in their child's empty room, realizing the laughter and chaos of daily life had shifted overnight into silence. Or adults watching their strong, independent parents suddenly needing help with the most basic tasks. These moments don't just change our routines, they change our identity. They shift the ground under who we thought we were. These shifts remind us that family roles are never static. They evolve, sometimes gracefully, sometimes with resistance. And the unexpected often lies not in the change itself, but in how it reshapes your sense of belonging and responsibility. It's how you redefine your role as a mother, daughter, son, partner, roles you thought were fixed, but are always in motion. So let me ask you this: where in your life have you felt the ground shifting beneath you? And how did it change your sense of who you are in that role? Whatever form the unexpected takes, it demands something of us across all four bodies. I often separate them out for clarity, but the truth is they're always interacting. What shows up in one body inevitably spills into the others. To heal, you can't just look at one in isolation. You have to honor the whole. Let's take the physical body, for instance. Exhaustion, adrenaline spikes, disrupted routines. Maybe you can't sleep, Or maybe you find yourself wired at 3 a.m. Or maybe your appetite disappears. Or you eat to feel the emptiness. These physical symptoms aren't only about the body. They spill into your emotions, shaping how reactive or fragile you feel. Grief, fear, anger, overwhelm, tears that show up at inconvenient times, or anger that surprises you when it erupts in the grocery store line. Those emotions can drain your energy, fog your mind, and even weaken your immune system. In the mental body, that's where denial, over planning, spiraling questions, the loop of what if and if only that keeps spinning long after the lights are out. These thoughts can exhaust your body, stir anxiety in the emotions, and even block you from trusting your spiritual sense of meaning. The search for meaning, surrender, faith, or trust. Prayers whispered in the dark, or questions you never thought you'd ask. A longing to believe there's purpose in the pain, even if you can't see it yet. And when your spirit feels untethered, the body, mind, and emotions often mirror that sense of being unmoored. Think of these signs showing up in different places because your body's keeping score. Maybe it's headaches or sleepless nights. Maybe tears or irritability. Maybe constant what if thinking. Maybe a sudden crisis of faith. These are signals from each body. I name these bodies separately to help you notice them, but you can't treat them as separate compartments. They're threads in the same fabric. And when one pulls, the whole weave shifts. Healing means listening to each body and then addressing them together as a whole system carrying the truth of the unexpected. Awareness comes first. You have to notice what's happening inside you before you can move into the next step. Awareness shows you where the shift is landing in your physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual body. Once you see it, you can begin to work with it instead of against it. Allowing means giving yourself permission to sit in the shock, grief, or disorientation. It's not weakness, it's truth rising. Allowing sounds simple, but it's actually one of the hardest things to do in a world that pushes us towards fixing, distracting, and moving on. It's the deep breath you take before you can even think about what's next. It's the pause before the action. And that pause can be one breath or an entire year of sitting in silence, observing, and accepting what is. Action doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's asking for help. Sometimes it's learning a new skill. Sometimes it's simply letting go of what was never yours to carry. You might be making a single phone call, journaling for 10 minutes, or taking a walk when you'd rather curl up and shut down. Think of it this way. Awareness is the moment you realize you're holding your breath. Allowing is the inhale, and action is the exhale. One without the other leaves you off balance. Together, they move you forward, step by step, breath by breath. The unexpected always asks for all three: the awareness to see it, the stillness of allowing, and the grounded steps of action. I'm going to invite you to sit in self-reflection with me for a moment. Was your unexpected a sudden rupture or slow erosion? How did your body, mind, and spirit respond? What truth rose for you in that space? And looking back now, can you see how endings sometimes hold the beginnings already within them? What unexpected connection or moment of gratitude has stayed with you? Something you wouldn't have had if life hadn't shifted the way it did. Your story may not look like mine, but the patterns are universal. The unexpected asks us to face what we'd rather not. And in doing so, it reveals who we are becoming. The unexpected changes us, but not always in the ways we fear. It asks us to pause, to listen, to become aware of what's real. And when we meet it with honesty, it shows us who we're becoming. It strips away what no longer serves and leaves behind a deeper truth about who we are and what matters most. So if you find yourself in the middle of the unexpected right now, remember, it isn't only about what you've lost. It's also about what's rising in you. Every ending carries a seed of a beginning, even if it takes time to see it. And sometimes the most powerful shift comes from not holding on, but from stepping through the doorway that's already opened. And there's gratitude in this too. Gratitude for the moments you wouldn't have had if life hadn't thrown a curveball your way. The late night conversations with a parent you might have taken for granted. A friend who showed up just when you needed them most. Or even a quiet moment of connection with yourself in the middle of the storm. These are the gifts hidden in hardship. The reminders that even in loss, life keeps offering us something to hold on to. The unexpected is never only about what you lose. It's about the truth it forces you to face and who you become as a result. Our shift has ended for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay present, and stay in truth.